underneath the police uniform. I'm just like you, a lover of laughter with dreams that grew. In every smile I share, a story unfolds. A reminder that compassion, it never grows old. Behind the badge, my heart beats the same. A melody of empathy, compassion, and fame. With every act of kindness, I'm trying to be that change. Using my voice to break through the range. Underneath this uniform, I'm a human being with feelings and emotions. A story worth seeing through the triumphs and struggles. Spreading love, hope, and the power of love. But a soul with a purpose, seeking no fame. Underneath this police uniform, I am real. I'm a woman of strength with love. Nothing to keep behind in a secret. Just love to reveal. Because underneath this police uniform, I am human. A woman, not the norm. I may wear satin and lace and pearls underneath, but here to heal. Break the world's swirls. I fight the darkness to protect the weak. And in the line of duty, my compassion, it doesn't just peak, it lives and bleeds through the chaos. I find my grace. I think of being a warrior with love in every chase. The beneath part of being a police officer is that behind the badge, a heart beats strong, and I'm ready to mend what's been torn for so long, because with kindness as my weapon, I'll prevail. In the name of justice, I will lift the veils. I am love. I am truth, peace, freedom, and justice. As I repay my karmic debt, it shall be fulfilled, because I am the change. And my only aim is to heal and not kill. I want to heal and not kill. You see, I have a hard time explaining things sometimes, because most people don't see that power is an intoxication of the indoctrination, causing frustration from all the emotional suffocation. And that's why my beloved is constantly telling me, you must stay balanced and stay centered. Because every tear I wipe, every soul I save in this uniform, I don't want to be a hero engraved in a tombstone. I am human with kindness as my weapon. I keep saying, I am human underneath this police uniform. Hey, welcome to Floetic Justice Behind the Uniform. I am Dr. Poetry with Deaf Poetry, and we have a lot in store today, y'all. A lot. You know, first of all, a big shout out to all the law enforcement officers, first responders that are out there, active duty, retirement, all those that are retired, excuse me. We are welcoming you to this show because we have a lot going on today. And I want to get to it straight up. I want to let y'all know that retirement for most law enforcement officers is not easy, even for the military, because they're used to a certain life. I mean, we know this already, but I want to touch on a couple of things. I want to remind folks that retirement marks a pivotal transition in the lives of officers and military personnel, an end to the structured demands of service, and the beginning of a new chapter beyond the badge or the uniform. For years, these individuals that we call brother, mother, father, sister, relatives, even husbands, spouses, have committed themselves to discipline, sacrifice, and duty, often under immense pressure with unwavering loyalty. Yet, life after retirement presents its own challenges and opportunities, okay? Ranging from the pursuit of second careers and adapting to civilian life, to addressing emotional, psychological, and physical adjustments before and behind the uniform. And I want to have a great conversation with Deaf today, and we have a guest, and he'll explain in a few, because we want to explore the journeys of these men and women, offering insight into how their identity, sense of purpose, and resilience evolve after leaving active service. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Great to see you, viewers, and I
Yes,
hope you enjoy
yes.
the show. I know you will. What's up, Def?
First off, happy Wednesday. You know,
Happy Wednesday.
we made it another week. I definitely feel blessed, and it's always a pleasure to be up on this platform with you. And shout out to the audience and the viewers. Today we're going to be going over, like you said, retirement, not being active service. What do you do with your time? And the transition to a civilian lifestyle.
Yes.
Um, you know, it's it involves redefining your identity sometimes, and it's not the easiest thing to do.
Mm,
Sometimes you go through a lot of challenges, and there are resources that we can take, that one could take, whether it's therapy, counseling, community service, and creating new hobbies and creating new effective alternatives to get you out of that lifestyle.
that's right.
um, there's also a lot of positives that come out of it as well, but it's not easy. It's not an easy transition, and this is really diving into that topic. Now, we do have a special guest, Sergeant Jonathan Carrasquillos. I have the pleasure and the honor of being able to serve with him in the United States Marine Corps. I've known this brother for many years now. He is, somebody very dear to me. He's not only a leader in the community now, and I've seen his transition also out of the Marine Corps, but he keeps himself productive, proactive, and I have nothing but flowers to give this man. You know, he uh, he did serve, did a did a couple tours as well, and I find his story very touching and very motivational as well. And we go back even down to the music days and the hip hop days and um, you know back when I had different AKAs and aliases, and it's definitely fun going down that lane and down memory lane, and it's been a pleasure.
Oh, I can't wait to hear all these stories. When
Yes,
are
yes.
we? Oh, I can't wait to hear about it, Mr. What's his name?
Jonathan Carrasquillos, also known as Sergeant Cash.
He's a sergeant.
Yes, that's
We
right.
have a sergeant. Now, you
That's right.
mentioned something that he also writes poetry. I mean, hello, Floetic Justice.
You
Deaf
know,
poetry, Dr. Poetry, hit me out poetry.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he got. And I think he does right, and I think that's a great outlet for anyone to have, to be able to sit down and release that and express yourself and get that off. I think it's one of the best outlets that we can have, and I'm excited to hear. I'm excited to hear what he has to say.
Me too. And I
And
can't wait so he could tell me those stories that you got. Like, we want to know. We want to know. I want to hear about it. Let's go. Are we
that's
ready?
right.
Are we ready to bring him up?
Let's bring him up.
Let's
Let's
bring
bring
him
him
up.
up, y'all.
Welcome to Fluidic Justice, Mr. Sergeant Jonathan Carrasquillo.
How you
Yay!
guys doing? Thank
Doing
you
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
for
well.
having me.
Yes, yes.
Yay.
What's
So,
going on, my brother? So I know it's been a while. Welcome to Floetic Justice. We have you on here today because we do value, for one, your service, and we want to hear about your transition, your story, your
yes,
your ups and downs, your trials and tribulations, and the routes and alternatives you took. Where you stand now, as far as you know taking that journey, and also being a role, a key role now, to junior guys, to guys that are presently in uh younger men that look up to you till today, that seek your advice, the direction that you're able to lead them in. I'm definitely curious on your perspective and how that's been for you, as far as the adjustment to civilian life after your terms in service, and how that's been for you as well.
Yeah, well, um, so like they said, my name is Jonathan CARRASQUILLO. Did 13 years active duty in the Marine Corps. Did 3 combat tours, 2 to Iraq, 1 to Afghanistan. And yeah, I would say, exiting the Marine Corps was very difficult for me because I've lived a life where it was extremely structured, and it's kind of lost on the way out. They have these programs and resources, as they may call it, that are there to really guide you, but you learn when you're really out. It's like getting a new job. You actually learn the job with OJT. So
Mm.
until you get out into the civilian world, you really don't know until you actually live it.
That's right.
So it was difficult at first, but I had some friends who I served with in the Marine Corps as well, and they were able to assist me. And when I say assist, I had some direction as far as getting educated. So I had a really good friend of mine who was an engineer at NASA, and he reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I know you're getting out. Um, what do you think about getting your electrical engineering degree?" And I was like, "Sounds complex, but I'm up for the challenge."
Right.
So I ended up moving to DC area, and we were roommates, and he guided me until eventually I hired on with Lockheed Martin, and I graduated with my engineering degree.
Ooh, congratulations.
Yes.
So and then from there I took some promotions, relocated, and but before getting to that stage, it was difficult because I really didn't save much money, nor did I have a steady income because I was unemployed. I'm just a full-time student.
Mm.
So a lot of well, definitely had a lot of issues with my mental health and trying to figure out how I can get back on my twos as a man and to take care of what I got to take care of, living, feeding myself, making sure I have a roof over my head, and also with the back with my family, helping them out, because
Mm.
during active duty service I was always the go-to guy.
Right.
Right.
And yeah, so I went ahead and after I got my degree, I took a position in Fort Worth, Texas. So I relocated, and then I stumbled upon some more issues. New environment, new people. I didn't really have friends, so trying to adjust to that just made it so much more complex.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I got to get back closer to the East Coast. Being
Hmm.
from New York, born and raised, I found some family and friends in Orlando, Florida, where I currently live. So I had some more guidance. I was able to purchase a home. So I'm a homeowner in Florida, and that's been a plus because I've actually been able to create a foundation that I could build off of.
Beautiful.
Hmm.
And as soon as I moved here, I had a good friend of mine who I grew up with in New York, and he's a baseball coach. And he's
Mm.
like, "Hey, man, we've played baseball all our lives. I know you still got it." So I was like, "So you want me to help you coach?"
Are
And
we
he,
talking about Mike Morales?
"Yes,
That's
Mike,
right.
Mike
That's
Morales,
right.
yeah,
Shout out to Mike
Shout out to
Morales.
Mr. Mike Morales.
yeah."
Right.
So I coached with him for 4 years, Little League. I coached all his kids, and that was a fun journey until I started getting severe anxiety attacks because of the
Mm.
crowds,
Mm.
Okay.
large crowds I can't do well with.
Could relate to that.
And
Is that like what is it called? Agoraphobia?
I just think it's derived from my PTSD.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I I rarely go to restaurants now, and just
Mm.
adjusting to the environment. So after I left Lockheed Martin, I went back to school. And I last year I graduated with another bachelor's in business. And I'm currently enrolled full time. I graduate in August with my master's in business.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I found it easier to go to school at home, so I don't go traditional
Right.
because of the large classroom,
Hmm.
the volume in the classroom. So I've been, going to school at my own pace, and I created my own business doing the handyman.
Uh-huh.
So I do home remodeling, and just to keep, because
You're busy.
idle time would drive you nuts.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. That's true.
So I still go out to the community, work at these houses. A lot of times it's just word of mouth, more references, and people that I have served with, or friends, relatives from them, and then also to piggyback on that, I also help veterans get their disability increases. So
Right.
that keeps me very occupied. So I'm a busy guy, but
That's
thankfully, I've always, since a kid, I've always been ambitious. And growing up in money making Manhattan, there's only one way to make it. You got to go and get it.
Hmm.
that's right. What part of Manhattan? Lower East Side, Uptown?
Harlem. Yep.
Harlem, El Barrio.
Yep. I'm from my barrio.
Yay, get out of here. My family's from the barrio. My
Yeah. I grew up
mom.
on 110th and Madison.
That's where my mom grew up at.
Hey,
That's
wepa.
crazy. All
So
right. So shout out to
as,
the barrio. Hmm.
as far as being in crowds and being in settings like that, I know you deal with this as well. Is it it's that hyper vigilance, uh,
Yes.
you know,
Mm,
because I think we all can resonate with that even till
yeah,
today, having a hyper vigilance, which to me it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. So sort of like a double-edged sword, right? Because it's always good to be vigilant. But that hyper vigilance is, you know, it could really affect you.
Oh, it's on a
You know,
thousand. On a
yeah,
thousand.
in those settings, and that leads with to anxiety and I definitely, and then adding on to any along with the stresses that from work, um, you know in addition to maybe a substance abuse of alcohol or anything like that, it just magnifies it, to the thousandth power. How was that? And is that something you're dealing with now?
Well, thankfully, I was able to seek to use my resources. So I get assistance at the VA with mental health. I joined a group and I do one-on-one counseling.
oh,
That's
that's
beautiful.
good.
And I also, I have a large family of Marine Corps veterans here in Florida that we keep each other occupied, and we always get together, we talk, and
That's right.
it kind of calms the storm.
That's great. So that you acknowledge that there could be a storm.
Well,
A
I've
lot of
had a
people.
storm already. It
Yeah.
was I went through a phase where I had eight of my really good friends commit suicide in 2 months,
Hmm.
Oh my God.
and yeah, I definitely result. I when it's
It was tough.
alcohol, I was drinking like a storm, and then I had an eye awakening, and try to reduce the consumption, and thankfully, with prayer,
Of
uh,
course.
and and like I said, being ambitious, and because in those 2 years, my time was spent idle at home. So your mind is running a million miles per hour, and I mean, the only resources I had in my home was alcohol to
Hmm.
cope.
To cope.
So
And it's so available. It's so accessible.
it's right there.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right there. Yeah. And you're not the only one. This is why this show is so important, because you look what you've done with everything. Look how you came around. And we need these stories to be told. And we need everyone out there, all the viewers, all you guys that are out there listening, that you're surfing the net and you come across this video, you come across this channel. Know that if you are going through anything like that, there are resources. And I know, Daph, you mentioned this on the last show. You gave us a lot of resources because Sergeant Carrasquillo is a concrete example of what it looks like when you're looking for help, because you have to have the willingness to want to get help.
That's
And
right.
it's not easy. And we can't sometimes discern if it's us that wants to, because it happens in police, law enforcement as well. You know, co-workers that we call it burnout. It starts off with a burnout, right? You guys know this. It starts off with a burnout. Then when you are seeing a lot of death, especially on the island, it's like you see a lot on the streets, and you see a lot of things that you don't want to even share with folks because nobody wants to hear that, and not everyone's going to understand it. And I'm sure you guys both understand this because you cannot share that with someone that's a civilian, even your spouse, your wife, because first of all, you don't want to worry anyone. Number one, you just don't want to do that. I mean, I don't do that. I get cut. I want to handle everything on my own. Wonder Woman, right? But imagine if you see certain things, you become, I call it it's not like you're institutionalized, but you're almost numb from it because you've seen it so much that, and it's not that we don't have respect for the dead. It's just that we become almost like non-emotional because you see it all the time. And so but when you come home, you're grateful for the things that you have because you just saw an ugly scene out there. You saw parents break down because they lost their child. You see a lot of children lose their lives in car accidents, in drinking and driving, domestic violence, you name it, in police work. And it happens back to back after every call for 8 hours. You're going into the homes. You guys were going into countries. Law enforcement is dealing with them on the streets,
Yeah.
the same thing, except that we get back to back calls. And if you do that for at least 2 years in law enforcement, I would say 1 year, 2 years, you've already seen a lot. So imagine those that are in their, I say 15 up, 10 years already is a lot. 10 years is a lot.
Yeah.
So 17 years, going on 18 now in September. When I hear you say, I know there's a lot of officers that struggle with drinking. I know that. So how do we help them? And these are the types of shows that we need to have. I have poetry, but not everybody has poetry. You see what I'm saying? I like what you do because you say you have this. You do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will call it escapism, because I dive into a lot. I have to be busy. The police department gives us 30 days off, right? We get 30-day vacation, but it's really like 40 because that's not including the days off. So it's like 40. On my 20 days already, I was like, I gotta go to work. I gotta do something. I probably wrote like 30,000 poems. I'm not exaggerating. The shows, you can tell I did so many shows. I'm doing too much. And when you retire, I don't want to see myself retire. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a show. I have to do like 20 things at the same time. My business, and deficit.
But
we gotta stay busy.
That's what's gonna keep. Yeah, and that's right. Staying busy. That's what, even after retirement, I think it's important, to stay active and stay busy. If you don't use it, you lose it. Keeping your mind strong, keeping your body active, and continuing to keep your body and your mind busy. I think that's the best, alternative, or one of the best options, because it's going to give you youth, it's going to give you life, and everything, as long as you continue to love what you're doing as well.
Right.
You got to find and create that environment for yourself, and it's not easy. It's not easy for everyone watching. Creating that environment, it takes time. It takes air. It takes reinventing yourself, being ingenuity, and courage.
Yes.
To be able to change some things around, and from a personal perspective, it's taken a lot to change habits, old habits that it becomes normal, and those tie into coping and dealing with what we considered the normal, the lifestyle.
Right.
And it takes a lot of will to be able to and love and by your surrounding yourself around people that have genuine love and want to see the best for you. You know, you said,
Right.
Jonathan, you said that you have a community out there of vets. Shout out to my brothers out there too.
Mm.
I know everybody is too. Shout out to the family, man. And it is the best environment to surround yourself with, where you're surrounded by families and genuine individuals that want to see the best out of you, that will call you out and not want to see you in that lowest, which we all do understand, because it comes with the title. It comes with that responsibility. They don't talk about it prehand, and we don't talk about it enough after the fact.
Right.
So you know, with that being said, you know, it's I got to give you your flowers, man. A lot of respect for even uh you know, speaking on it and being that being that leader today for
That's
for
right.
for your brothers and sisters. And because I see you do a lot, and I got to give you the most respect and shout out to that, man.
I love it. Absolutely. We salute you. You know,
Yes,
we talked
sir.
about retirement really quick, Mr. Carrasquillo. I really want to present to you and to a lot of the viewers out there. Um, I was surfing the net and I came across this video of a former police officer, right? Um, but he was 94 years old and he was still in his uniform. This video was in 2021, but this officer passed. He was 94. He passed the following year, 2022, because he passed away at 95. But he talks about what you guys were talking about: staying busy, still working. And I want to show that to you guys because retirement. Do we really retire? That's what I'm trying to say. Do you stop being a Marine? Do you stop being a police
Never.
officer?
No.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like, what are we talking about, right? But yeah, I wanna present this to you guys. Let me pull this up, viewers. I want you guys to see this as well if you haven't seen it already.
Enjoy.
Yeah, let's go. Here we go.
Everybody I have ever met knows Buckshot.
Buckshot is a nickname given to Leonard Charles Smith when he was just a teenager, and it stuck.
Shout out to Mr. Buckshot.
Buckshot has been an influential part of the Camden community for nearly a century. While driving around town in his police cruiser, his feelings towards this town are clear.
I love it. I always wanted to be a fireman or police. I like excitement.
Buckshot's career began at the Ouachita County Sheriff's Department, which is where he met his current police chief 30 years ago.
I was a jailer when I started my career, and he was my supervisor.
I just worked myself on up.
Buckshot worked in Ouachita for 46 years before retiring in 2010. His retirement didn't last long. After 5 months, he decided to join the Camden Police Force in 2011.
My doctor tells me if you keep working, feel like it, going to work, get up and go.
Lifelong friend and department dispatcher Lorraine Gilmore says she believes his dedication to work is what keeps him young.
Because he's always on the go. He's doing something.
This hat isn't the only one Buckshot wears. He has nearly a dozen other jobs.
The assistant coroner
Vice chairman of the Deacon Board.
does all the funeral escorts.
He's a busy man.
We were snowed in, and I had employees calling in sick. He walked to work.
The desire to work is something Woody says will be hard to replace once Buckshot does retire.
Well, there'll never be anybody that has the dedication he has.
He never
Oh, when I
retired.
be gone for he will.
You think you hope you're going to retire before you
Uh-huh. Yes.
How much longer do you want to keep working?
Good Lord. Till the good Lord says so.
Nearly
exactly
6
what
decades of
happened.
law enforcement experience he's not ready to walk out on just yet. In Camden, I'm Haley Brooks.
So I have one more video that's gonna follow this one. It takes a turn, but that's amazing. That's
Shout out
Everybody,
to
it's Tony
Mr. Bug
Robbins and
Shot.
Dean Graziosi. I have a question for you. If you had to make a choice between having massive impact.
yes.
Shout out to Mr. Buckshot for sure.
A 92-year-old
Hold
police
on.
officer, one of
Sorry, y'all.
Camden's finest, protecting and serving his.
You start doing that. Right
Okay,
there.
shout out to Mr. Buckshot. I believe that's Camden, Arkansas, I believe.
Yes.
But God bless that. God bless that gentleman right there. That's
Yeah, that is. I think we all can relate to that, right?
that's
Can
right.
you? Because I know some officers that just be like, I don't want to be here, and I'm like, I don't want to be here neither. But it's not that serious for me. Like, you know what I mean? Unless I'm not feeling good, and not even because, not even.
That's a prime example of staying busy, and you can see the youthfulness in his soul and his spirit, and what he say, I'm gonna continue working till the good Lord tells me to
Yeah,
stop. And
he did.
God bless his soul, rest in peace, to God, blessings to his family. That's such a great example right there, man. I would have loved that medal.
But it reminds me of our guest here, Mr. Sergeant Jonathan CARRASQUILLO, because I heard you say I studied and then I went and I studied and then I opened up a business, and we all could relate to that. Like, not we all, but the ones that are here right now. I've listened to Def Can Stay Still, and then I listening to you, and it seems like, in Puerto Rico we have this thing, que tú tienes hormiga, because we don't sit still.
Right.
And a person, I've shared this before with my viewers, and those that consider, my followers, they are aware that I've been intervened many times medically. I've had several surgeries, very severe, and I've always stood up. I've had 15 abdominal surgeries, and I've overcome so much, and I don't stop. And it's crazy because sometimes even death will be like, Izzy, you gotta stop. Like, I think we had a show the other day that everyone, you, Granny Wowzers, and Cheesecake were like, or was it Granny Wowzers? He was like, just, all right, Izzy, we gotta go. Like, go to sleep. And then I'll probably go to sleep, take a shower, go to sleep. And I could be on the phone, let's say Def and I on the phone, and I'm probably tired. I'll probably pass out. And then he's like, you sleeping? No, I'm not. What was happening? What are we gonna do with the video? And I'm still talking. And then he's like, yo, Izzy, go to sleep. And multitasking. Oh my God, don't we love to multitask? Right? We sit there in front of, I'm that person with the laundry basket, watching this show, texting to make sure that they're sending me videos, on 2 phones. And did you get that? Did you get that? And not to mention, to make sure that my reports and everything is okay with the police, because that's just all business here. We haven't even talked about my career as an officer. So I see you.
Yes.
I salute you. We honor you, because we know that after you retire from all that, somehow we create that very thing at home.
and what they become are hobbies. Also, we create new hobbies for ourselves that are productive, proactive, and not only therapeutic but beneficial to our lives and our livelihood. And as far as hobbies, I know, for myself, I get into creation mode. I love to create. Use my hands, whether it's building something, writing something, cutting hair. That's right. Creating.
Barber.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I've learned to create those therapeutic hobbies that not only keep me young, young spirited, youthful, but I've also seen, you, Dr. Poetry, and also yourself, Jonathan, as far as creating, and I'm proud of you for that. Just creating those hobbies for yourself as well. Would you mind sharing with the viewers and everything, things that you love to do today that change that whole output and really keep you busy and motivated? When you hear those key words that I know, because you might hear Beanie Siegel. How many times I heard Beanie Siegel on the turntables, and I get that phone call, like, but those are things that give you, and I love it, and I'll stay on the phone with you, man, because I know that that moment not only sparked something, but it gave you life. It got you moving. And share a little bit about those hobbies and those interests. I know I don't want to speak too much on it. I definitely love for you to share for everybody.
Okay, so probably my favorite hobby is DJing. I've been DJing. I started DJing in 2006 in Japan while I was on active duty.
How dope
And,
is that?
and I love music. So I don't DJ the club scene no more because of the crowds.
Right.
But I still do like house parties. Like it'll be someone's birthday, and they were like, "Yo, Cash, can you DJ our party?" I got you.
Mm-hmm.
And I DJ all genres, but I would say my favorite genre would probably be freestyle.
All right.
Like Lisa.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right.
yeah, so I definitely play a lot of that music, and then the '90s hip hop and R&B, and of course salsa, merengue, bachata. And that keeps me moving and keeps me going. And one last hobby that I have, and you were there for that, Def, was my garden.
That's right. That's right.
I
Mr.
have
Chris.
a garden. I grow all fruits, vegetables. I grow herbs. And yeah, I wish I could show you guys my yard, but
How's that banana tree, man? How's that How them guineos?
phenomenal. I just had a harvest. Right now I have 10 banana trees. I have 4 avocado trees. I have a papaya tree. I have a grapefruit tree, mango, coconut, basil, mint, ginger, turmeric, baricha, passion fruit. I have a little
Right.
one now. I've got some peppers, spicy ones, and I have I think that's it. I
All
have quite
right.
a few, and that allows me to step outside and hang out with nature and eat from it.
That's
I just harvested a bunch of potatoes and sweet potatoes.
Wow.
man, that's great. That
Yeah.
is so good for the soul. That's
I
like
just I
grounding.
just ate potatoes that I harvested
That's
before.
Man,
nothing
look at
better than
that.
that. Ain't
Nah,
nothing better than
Right?
that right there.
take them from the
Yeah.
back, clean them, chop them up, throw them in the air fryer. Papitas.
Yep.
Hey, yeah, papitas. The fresh basil though. Oh, and mangoes. I got those in PR. I love that. Do you have recao? No recao?
Of
Yeah,
course.
you guys, yeah,
You talking
recao.
about the culantro?
Yeah, we
Mhm.
call culantro.
Yep.
We call it
Yeah,
recao. Yeah.
Now,
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
now,
Cilantro.
now, as far as you using, uh, everything you're growing, you being able to go right back into that, not only with the compost, just learning about that. I'm sure once you started doing that, it became a hobby. You started learning
Yeah.
and really
Now
sharpen
it's second
that.
nature.
Right, right.
I can't go without not growing something.
Self-sustainability. I think
And
that's
it's
something we were
therapeutic.
talking about in the previous show, uh,
Yep.
or a
And
conversation we were having. Correct.
it was in the What in the Borinquen, because What in the Borinquen is another show we have. It's called What in the Borinquen is Going On Here. And we talk about the situation on the island of Borinquen, Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And our intros, the intro says, how do you want to be free if you don't want to plant any seeds, you know? Um, and we talked about that. No, what Def just said. Everybody wants to be free, but nobody wants to put the work on it. And we're not growing enough. We're not growing. Well, that's a different show. I almost went there.
I think
That's
people just become content with what's around. Oh yeah, and I love to cook.
That's right.
Def
there you
know,
go.
yeah,
Yeah,
Def have my food. He knows I gets down in the kitchen.
yeah, man.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's great. Yeah, but that keeps you. But you have poetry. I
Yes,
heard about. So we want to hear some poetry. tell us about this poetry and what inspired you to write that poem. And aside from
Uh,
the fact that this is Floetic Justice,
yeah, so
the
uh,
Hear Me Out Poetry channel.
so I wrote this piece about myself, and then I wrote a second piece as well for the masses.
Well, we'd love to hear it. And if you can go into, after you recite it, you can go a little into, the significance and what that
Yes.
to you, because I'm definitely excited to hear some a new poet rising out of the scene, yeah, rising into the scene, y'all. I'm
Yes.
definitely excited, man. Again,
Yeah.
we appreciate you being up on the show today and being a part of Floetic Justice. So let's go, man. I definitely want to hear. So your first piece is called Strength.
I'm gonna do smooth.
Smooth. Okay. Okay.
Smooth first. Okay. So let us know. If you're ready, you can take it away. This is Jonathan Carrasquillo, y'all, with Smooth.
Okay. Smooth. He's a real cool dude. In most situations, he knows just what to do. Yeah, he's smooth. Takes care of business, even when he's not in the mood. Everyone's favorite, barely ever rude. Brewed in New York. Of course, he's full of talent. Not sure if he eats pork, but he has a great palate. They say he's a chef, the highlight of the night. Destined for greatness, that future is bright. Smooth.
So that was something that you wrote for the masses.
Snaps.
Smooth. I'm talking about myself.
Okay.
That was snaps out to
Yeah.
smooth. Okay. Snaps out to that. Snap, 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 snaps. And I want you to tell us a little bit before you go into the new one,
Okay.
the one for the masses. Let us know what's going on in these pictures right here. We have
Oh,
you,
yeah.
which uniform? Sergeant Jonathan Carrasquillo. Sergeant Casio.
Yeah. So yeah, that picture right there in the dress blues. I was actually at my brother's wedding. I just got back from Iraq and I surprised him for his wedding.
Oh,
I flew from San Diego, California to New York and then got on a bus to Philly.
wow.
He got married in Chester, Pennsylvania. Yeah, I surprised everybody. It was amazing.
Oh man, that's
Shout out
dope.
to Mikey.
Yeah. And so here,
This was in Japan. We were doing a mess night where
mhm.
we all get in uniforms and we do a hike. I'm on the far left, the guy in the middle, he's another Marine, and the guy on the far right was in the Navy. That's Vargas. And the guy in the middle, I don't recollect his name, but it'll come to me later on. But yeah, we had a NCO mess night, and just it was a good time.
Yay, that's good. Then we had, hold on. Then we have this right here. Well,
This was at a Marine Corps ball. So every year, November 10th is the Marine Corps birthday. Marines get together. We celebrate our birthday. So it's a birthday ball, a big celebration. I think we're like the only branch that actually acknowledges our birthday.
Mhm.
oh, wow. So
Yeah.
it's like everyone gets all dazzled up and gets, it's
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
oh, a
And we
nice
party.
ball.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
you party.
Yeah.
Hoorah! Wait,
Yeah.
can you guys do the
Cool.
hoorah? I don't know. I love the hoorah.
Oh, we got a lot of them. We got a lot of them. if you get it started, we don't stop. We don't
I'm
stop.
starting. Hoorah! I want to hear it. I always wanted to say
Yeah,
hoorah.
typically we just do like a bark.
Yeah.
Always
Yep.
say yut.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
That sounds like some. Yeah,
Well,
like animals of course.
well, the Marine Corps, we were first considered, we were first called leathernecks and devil dogs.
Yeah.
So that's where the bark.
Founders.
That's where the bark
Yeah.
comes from. You know.
Wow.
So from a distance, you'll know a Marine you'll hear a Marine from a distance from the bark.
Yeah.
And it'll go, ow. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? You gonna hear us.
We'll let it
Oh,
be known.
wow. That's good. I'm gonna have to do that just in case I need help.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
I'm not a Marine, but I heard you help.
Yeah, don't rowdy them up.
That is
That's
dope.
Then the
All right.
last picture was
Yes.
one of the teams I coached in Little League out here in Orlando, Florida.
Hey, Coach Sergeant Cash. I love it. Coach Sergeant Cash. I love that. Shout out to that. And thank you. First of all, I did say this earlier, but I can't stress this. I'm big on that. Thank you for your service, and thank you for your continued service, because my father used to play baseball. He played for Puerto Rico as well, Doble A.
Oh, okay.
And I really didn't think too much. I knew he played professional back here, at home, but he left at a very early age. To make a long story short, he was big on little leagues. And in the neighborhood I grew up in the South Bronx, it was so rough. But I didn't realize who my father was in terms of when it came to baseball and what the community service he provided. I remember seeing a lot of plaques on his walls from the President Borough and stuff like that. But I didn't, even as a teen, I didn't care about all that. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, oh, okay. But when my dad passed in 2020, I remember seeing all these guys that I remember on the baseball teams. I was always around guys because they were baseball players, and my dad coached. He owned the teams, and they would travel, and they were all grown up, like my age and stuff. And the funeral, they came in to pay their respects. And I had conversations with quite a few, and they were speaking really highly of my dad, about how he helped them, and he pretty much kept them off the street from doing things they weren't supposed to be doing. And so when I see that, I'm not sure my neighborhood or whatever, but it's the first thing that I think of when anyone that's coaching teams, or anyone that's a dance teacher, anyone that puts themselves in front of children and keeps them busy. We don't know what they're battling in their own home. We don't know if they see domestic violence. We don't know if one of them is getting molested. I'm giving you the ugly side. I see a lot. And when I see somebody that helps them to get them off, of course, make them athletic and everything, but it's a social thing. And it's so healthy mentally.
To add, I think it's actually teaching them cohesion.
Cohesion is the word. Absolutely.
Because cohesion, you learn to work together because there's no I in a team.
Right.
And Def's been to a few of the games I've coached myself.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
It's fun.
Out there getting down and dirty.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Helping them as well. That is so. Congratulations on that as well. That's very important for the children. And you're spending your time now, retired doing that. That's beautiful. Yeah. Wow. Well, we're ready for the other poem.
Okay.
What's it called?
It's called Strength.
Strength.
Is that a poetic justice shirt you got on there? Okay, shout out to that, man. Shout out to that. I see you, brother.
I love that. Let's go. So he's gonna recite right now. Yeah, I'm gonna give him the full screen because this is he's attention viewers. This was for you.
Okay. Strength. Resilient as ever. Bouncing back after turbulent weather. Never been better. Surfing the waves of life. Surviving it all. Even through strife. Attracting the best wife. Being the best. Temperatures always just right. Making dope connections all night. Thriving endlessly, even through each fight. Strength.
Mm. Shout out to that, man. Snaps out to that. I really, man. Yo, hold on, man. I ain't even know you get down like that. For one, snaps out to
Ladies
that. I didn't
and
know you get down like that,
gentlemen,
Jonathan. Um, yo,
we present to you the Sergeant Jonathan Carrasquillo,
you heard Sergeant Cash.
the poetic sergeant. That's your name now. I'm Dr. Poetry. That's Deaf Poetry, the poetic sergeant. Sergeant
Right.
Poetry. Love that, Sergeant Poetry. Oh my God. Nah, that was great though. Seriously. That was
Can
great.
you
I do.
can you go into that piece right there, because
Please.
I really enjoyed that one. I wish, um, you
We
know,
had much more people do so. Yeah.
yeah, I definitely I want to get that on. I want to get that on audio. If we could do that in the near future.
Some
I,
music, right?
yeah, but can you
I,
go? I really like that on strength, and
Me
you
too.
were
Both
speaking
of them.
on in that short poem. You spoke on a lot of things. You spoke on, you spoke on the strength of love, a partner. You spoke on yourself. Can you go into that a little bit and the significance behind that?
uh, I think because we spoke a key word I heard earlier, which coincided with the poem, was being resilient,
Mm-hmm.
resilience, and that's just something that each individual needs to have some type of resiliency to overcome something. And long nights on deployment, um just being homesick and worrying that that might be your last night,
Right.
so and then you wake up in the morning. I take it as you're bouncing back, like, all right, cool, now let's start the new day. And then it's just a everyday evolution until it's time to come back stateside.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, just I think having the strength and the wits to be able to overcome those obstacles, make it that much more rewarding.
Amen to that.
And I just think that you I've always staged it, so it's God,
Mm-hmm.
self, and then the masses. But I've never followed that, unfortunately, because I've always put others in front. And
Mm.
I've learned as I gotten older to be a little bit more selfish, you know, with myself, because if I don't have the sanity, how am I going to help you?
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so I got to put myself before, and then make sure I'm right before I can assist you and help you and give you the knowledge and stuff to help you get over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And was that realization for yourself? Was that early on, or you know, um, realizing that for yourself as far as, damn, my priorities ain't right, where I'm valuing, what I know I should be putting first, and what I put first. What was that? What was that?
Later on in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, later on in life, like probably I would say in my late 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. So, I'm in my 40s now, so I'm actually playing my cards
Right.
correctly.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to that, man. It takes a lot of resilience. Having that willpower to just keep on going, and having faith
Yeah, it's important.
that those steps you're taking forward will will plan out. You planting those seeds, because nothing that you're doing is gonna grow out overnight. It's gonna take time. You got to water it.
You
You
got to
got.
make sure it's germinated correctly.
That's right. That's right. That's right. shout out to that, man. And wow, I love those pieces you shared with us, and I can't wait to hear more. We do have some other experiences and videos we want to show the guests and viewers about for police officers also, and some poetry that we want to share with y'all on Behind the Uniform, because this is Behind the Uniform. This is not only military veterans and brothers and sisters that serve behind the uniform, but also all first responders, police force, firefighters, EMTs, and everyone that's serving the community, doctors, nurses. This is for all of y'all, for all of y'all families that.
For all our families, absolutely. I wanted to, sorry, I interjected quickly. I just wanted to say that, law enforcement, whether you're or anyone wearing a uniform, anyone serving people, whether it's poetry, whether it's planting, gardening, being a barber, writing poetry, singing, DJing, it's always important to make sure that you have a hobby even when you are serving, because what happens is we forget about that. And then when we are, like, for instance, if we're injured, has anyone ever been injured on the job that you couldn't really work for a while? I know I have. And I'm thankful that I grew up in a home and we all could talk about that. If you have that already, that way of thinking, you're not, or the pandemic. What about the pandemic? We were locked in. How many people were going crazy? They were dealing with a lot, but I'm so used to doing things on the inside. I'm so used to, I grew up really, my mom had us inside the house all the time. So we had to create games in the house. We had to sing and do whatever we did, dance and baton twirling, whatever. And so you learn how to do things. What I'm saying is, anyone out there, active or not active, but this is particularly for the ones that are still active, to my co-workers, a todos los compañeros que estén en la isla, que están escuchando, que están viendo, esto es para ti. For everyone that's serving, don't just sit there and look at more TV, because sometimes when you want to not think about what you just saw, when you turn on the TV, some strange reason, you're going to get a show about what you just went through.
Wow.
Trust me, Law and Order, hello. Like, you see all these, and then if you go on TikTok, the same thing you saw, 25,000 TikToks. Sometimes it's my encouragement. I don't give advice. It's encouragement. I encourage you to find something for yourself, write, keep a journal. Okay, listen to some music. It's like a breakup, and then you listen to a song that's like a breakup. We got to choose what we're listening to. You have control over it. Reclaim the reins of your own mind. Try to figure that out and be strong. And so all I'm saying is, I want to play something for those that I don't know, Def. I was gonna play Poet in Blue.
Absolutely. I think it's fitting. I think we definitely should play. This is Percy, man. This is
Poet in Blue is
Shout
something that I wrote something called Poet in Blue, and I have a poet that his name is Coasty Apache, speaks to me being a police officer, but I'm in blue, and at times I get the blues, and I'm writing. So here we go. This is Poet in Blue, y'all.
I'm that poet wearing blue. placing her life on the line. For many on the island, the streets is her runway. In her uniform, walking like a feline. A poet in blue with a badge, and a Smith & Wesson. A notebook investigating state cases. She has the evidence, but she wants to hear your confession. With all the pretty and ugly truth she faces, patrolling avenues, places unknown to man, uninterested in revenue. Yet dreams of giving people back their ancestral land. Poems from sultry to sweet, she doesn't compete. Patrolling her beat, listening to some beats, giving birth to verses, wearing 5'11" tactical boots on her feet. And when she can't sleep, she writes the unthinkable, while the sirens gradually sit still, finding solace in stanzas, inspired by many greats, like the late Nick Giovanni and Maya Angelou. Now to me, that's phenomenal. A sapiosexual, erudition grows, she glows, she finds beauty in mind, yearning for insight, conversation filled with poetry. Her silence can be so loud. Her interest is knowing how the cerebral connections are found, meditating on these truths that she seeks to unveil. When she talks, she heals. From her soul, her melody leaks, mysteriously laughing while listening on the stories that the streets speak. Her psychology is soft-spoken and calm, reading emotion in minds, surgically with layers of thought. She sees underneath all the lies in the line, cause to her, the truth seeks to be unblind. So she pays attention to your allure, trusting that your own patience will allow you to open up your celestial door. Yet some are still left flabbergasted, talking about no wonder she loves the war.
Thank you, Costa Apache. Hey.
Shout out to that, man. That's one of my
We
favorites.
wear blue. Absolutely.
Shout out to all the service members that are currently and retired police. Shout out to you, Isabella. Shout out to my brother. Shout out to family and friends that we have that are serving and that are active right now, that put their life on the line on every day, that are not guaranteed the privilege and the blessing to go home every day.
Absolutely.
You know, and that reflection, that piece right there is so powerful. It's so powerful. I got to give you that.
Yeah.
I love
Thank
that
you.
there.
Shout out to Costa Apache for that.
Shout out to Costa.
He didn't hesitate to help me out. I don't know if you peeped, I was eating a bacalaito in the patrol car. I was driving through Loiza in the patrol car, and I did like a video, and I'm like, I'm eating. Only I can get to eat a bacalaito in a patrol car. The perks of being a cop in Puerto Rico, right? But it's real stuff. It's real deal. You know, you come home. Yeah, I sing. I like my poetry. But there are moments where I don't really know how to verbalize what I see. And I'm really pretty. And I think we are all, I don't like to say I think we all of us viewing this, you know what we're talking about here, you guys. There's a culture within the culture. There's a culture within the culture of law enforcement and military personnel.
That camaraderie.
We cannot be changos, especially in Puerto Rico. You know, there's no, and as a woman, let's talk. You guys want, you know what that's like. We can't, we be hurting and we don't dare say anything, because then they're like, oh, woman. So, you know, you got to be like, I'm good. And then you get home and you fall apart.
That's the truth in the Marine Corps too. You know, we say the strongest women in the branches are the Marines, the women. You know, because they got to work twice as hard. They gotta keep up, and they go hard. They go hard. They shout out to the women enlisted and serving, because they don't get enough credit as well. They really go above and beyond and don't complain, just like you're saying right now. Now, it's not about complaining though. we're talking about the effects and you know the influence that has on us, on women, on men, not being able to speak, not wanting to speak up sometime because it's going to look towards you as if you're weak, or you know how many times we declined or didn't bring up a sick call or go to medical because of what they're going to say or how they're going to look at you, when in reality self comes first.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. That what you're saying right there, I'm going through it right now. I'll say that we didn't enter the police force with any issues, because then you would have not been able to go in, right? But after 17 years of law enforcement, I've spoke about this. I'm about to do a show about this actually here on Floetic Justice, coming soon. Police officers with fibromyalgia. How do you work with that duty belt on your waist and a bulletproof vest with fibromyalgia? How do you do it? I'll tell you.
Resilience.
Resilience, but that's my point. It gets to a point where you have to speak up, because now you're putting your partner on the line. When you start driving and your neck freezes and you can't look because you can't go like that because or you can't really, or your legs don't stop working or something, like you're putting someone at risk aside from yourself. You're driving cars, the eyes go, you're driving at night. You can crash cars. It's a little dangerous because you're in pain. The pain comes from nowhere. But where does the pain come from? Stress.
Yeah.
That's how you get it from, you start getting, it's that fight or flight, right? Fight or flight, which is a poem I'm about to play right now, fight or flight. And I'm saying all this because I've recently had to speak up, because if I don't, I got to go to the doctor. You have to do that. Like, I'm so caught up in, no, I got to go. They said they have to be here, but there's certain things you cannot do. And I'm speaking of someone who's already been 17 years on the force. I didn't just come in. And when
your service.
Hmm?
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate you saying that, but we still working. We still doing what we're doing. And I see the young ones come in and they want to stop everybody, right? They want to intervene because they got that fever. But you already know that, now I'm working double, because I'm on fight or flight for me, but now I'm fight or flight for her or him who wants to pull over any car in the street. And on the island of Puerto Rico, everybody's a cowboy. So it's kind of like, chill. Do you have the criteria? Like, because don't confuse the fever with the tactical, operational that you need, the knowledge. And I know we all come out the academies and boot camps with a lot of theory, a lot of
gung-ho.
Right. But when you're in the street, there's certain things that you just can't learn in the academy. You got to learn there.
Developing that discernment.
I kind of like don't want to be the lab rat, but I have to be, because I'm looking out for them at the same time.
You develop that discernment and that awareness, time and a place, the setting, understanding the settings, and you're working double because your
mind is working double.
Yeah.
So if you're doing that, what is that doing to your fibromyalgia? So the police, I'm bringing all this up because I'm going to do a show really soon on this, because fibromyalgia is one of those things that, a lot of people in law enforcement cannot even take the medication that's being offered, because it puts you down. It makes you, so I'm taking it. I'm allowed to, but there's other holistic stuff that they can take that is not allowed on the island. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. But are you having a good time, Mr. CARRASQUILLO? Do you like it here?
Yeah.
All right. Yay. All right, I got one more poem. It's called Fight or Flight, y'all.
Enjoy, y'all.
Fight or flight. Here we go. I'm frozen to the bone. That's what the psych says. He says my heaviness and darkness is in my soul. He says I'm cold, but he's wrong. I am a soul. So this one's for the ones who've been on that mode of fight or flight, trying to remain alive, living on survival mode. It's a feeling, and it'll go away. But it's an addiction to living a life we don't love, preferring to do it all alone, smiling and smiling all along, singing to the wrong song. But today, it's a new day, and we control our fate. This one's for the fighter on fight or flight mode. When you're wondering how to regulate your highs and your lows, we are living in constant state of stress, conditioned to the rush of the arousal, conditioned to addiction, to the emotion, not being able to control the outcome, because we can't predict our future outcome, but we on threat or danger in this outer and inner world we can't see. We're living with TDC, threat, duress, and coercion. We feel the suffocation, so some of us, we turn to meditation, avoiding that detrimental medication. It's like we feel this overwhelming lack of patience. We do realize they want us to be the perfect patient. It's our brain and body not in homeostasis. This one is for the ones who've been on that mode of fight or flight, trying to remain alive, living on survival mode. It's a feeling, and we know it will go away, but it's an addiction to living a life we don't love, preferring to do it all alone, smiling and smiling all along, singing to the wrong songs. But today, it is a new day, and we control our fate. Fight or flight affects our nervous system. Enormous energy and resources are placed on the wrong images and mindsets. Our organism perceives danger, alternating a rush of adrenaline. Fight or flight, my heart rate increases, my energy decreases, pupils dilate, salivary juices can't control my respiration. Time to fight, time to hide, unbalanced, seeking to regenerate. But today I continue to speak to the fighter in me, no longer in solitude, but living in gratitude. No need of fight or flight, just taking it a bit easy, truly receiving the joy in my life, my joy for existence, having appreciation, celebrating my kindness when I know we all can change the way we think. Fight or flight, I speak to my body, my environment, and I'm kind to my time. No need to get back to the familiar or the highly analytical, over-focused state, just changing the scenario. And I never realized my addiction to my state of fight or flight. I was addicted to a life I didn't even like. Whether it was a relationship, despicable relatives, that cutthroat coworker, I was addicted to a life I didn't even like. I say rise, speak up, be brave, don't let no one ruin your day. No one ruin your life. It's your life. You change your fate. So this one's for the ones who've been on that mode of fight or flight, trying to remain alive, living on survival mode. It's a feeling, and I know it'll go away. It's an addiction to living a life we don't love, preferring to do it all alone, smiling all along, singing to the wrong songs. But today is a new day. We control our fate. I'm Dr. Poetry, and you're not alone. Fight or flight. Fight or flight.
Wow.
Yay.
Fight or flight. Fight or flight. Survival mode.
Does it sound familiar? CARRASQUILlo?
Yeah.
The
You know,
description.
that resonates. And for you, Dr. Poetry, what does that mean for you? You know, how does it resonate? Because, you know, we all can relate to that. And we've all had past and, you know, sometimes recent, you know, incidences where either it's fight or flight or we catch ourselves in that fight or flight mode. So can you dive into that a little bit for us and for the viewers?
I think, excuse me. I think I've had, I have something in my throat. I think I've had fight or flight very early on as a child. I said this the last show, the other Poetic Clinic, I think it was. Growing up in the South Bronx was already fight or flight. Growing up in housing is fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
The New York City Board of Education is fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln Hospital in the Bronx is fight or flight.
Yes, definitely.
Sorry, Lincoln. Sorry.
No shout outs for you today.
But I would say Lincoln saved my life too, you know,
right.
But just going into Lincoln is like, what the hell? What, get away from me. You know, it's like so much going on there. 3rd Avenue. You know, I lived on fight or flight. Got on the train, fight or flight. You too close. You pervert.
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you want from me? You know, and you grow up like that. You grow up in the city. I lived on the 15th floor. Just to get to the 15th floor, the floor went local, the elevator went local. I was seeing a lot on those floors. I was seeing a lot. There was the Nino Brown floor. Then there was the fighting floor. They're playing craps on the floor. And then you female. The elevators are broken. Now you got to
walk up the stairs.
15th floor,
Oh,
fight or flight. Fight or flight. I grew up, I'm fight or flight all the way.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps me, so imagine taking all that and becoming a cop.
That's right. Wow.
Not in New York, on the island, where nobody wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because over here,
It's
there
a
is
different
no
atmosphere.
T-shirts. Like I said in the last show, there's no state police T-shirts, cute hats in the airport. Okay, you get that in New York, and there's a lot of issues going on with that, right? Because they're trying to defund the police, but yet people are still buying them hats and them shirts because it's, you know, New York. But that's not happening here because they don't like it. So what it looks like to me is that there's a lot of things that I've learned, I've read, I'm reading, my education, my master's, my criminal, all the stuff that I put together, you apply it all, but then I give myself grace because I realize that even when I'm eating and I hate law enforcement eating. Any officers out there, please don't forget, call us at 787-401-9665 or check out our website, www.hearmeoutpoetry.com, or you can email us at hearmeoutpoetry7@gmail.com. Listen, we have all these different ways of coming on the show because I would love to hear these law enforcement officers speak on one thing right now. When it's time to eat,
Mm-hmm.
in your uniform, and you start eating, we're eating fast. You know why? Because we know that the minute you take your time, like you want to take your time, you got that everything's pressing all over you. You want to, if you eat slow, you got to call and you got to leave everything and go. And now you got an attitude. It's not healthy. You're hangry. So what I'm saying, Def, is that fight or flight looks like so many things.
Yeah.
Looks like you're against, even in political, everything, because we work for the government, right? We work for the government. We are the government. In Puerto Rico, do you know how they talk to us sometimes? ¿Qué es lo que tú quieres, gobierno? Gobierno, ¿qué tú quieres, gobierno? I'm like, gobierno? I'm agent. Gobierno, dime, guardia. Dime lo que hay, guardia. You know, and they cursing you out, and you so now you got to deal with everybody just cursing you out because they almost killed somebody drunk.
Yeah.
And now you're getting called a puta, you're getting called everything. And so you become, you get used to that. But in the middle of it happening, there's something going on within you. You're like, because now you're like, for your security and my security, you know, so there's a lot going on. And I say, you get used to it.
It's funny you mentioned the eating fast, right? And you're smiling already because starting off, that's to keep you alert and ready and prepared, readiness for fight or flight for anything that could happen like that. And straight out of basic training and boot camp, how are we supposed? How do we eat? Head down. Head down.
That's it. And you're given. So you get into the chow hall and you stop eating when the last man sits down.
Yep.
So you hope to have enough nutrition because once you're done, you're gonna go run 5 miles or
right back to it.
Back to drilling. Yeah, so to this day, I still eat really fast.
Right.
I hate that. I know for my vacation, with those 30 days, I feel like I do it on purpose. Even my clothes. I make sure that I wear like batitas, like real flowy clothes, the most feminine thing. I do it on purpose because for a woman, this is a very masculine job, right? And if you kind of tall, that makes it worse. Because, you know, they looking at you, but they hate you because you're a woman in uniform. We live in cultura. Hello, Latinas. You know, men. You know, it's a lot of macho going on here. So they don't want to deal with you. So when I'm off duty, when I'm not so much off duty, meaning like when I'm on vacation, like period, I'm in New York. I try my best to look because that helps with coming down. You know what I mean? I even put long nails like this on purpose. I put them like this on purpose, you know, long nails on purpose so that I'm not hands-on so much, you know, because if not, I need to make a fist. So these are little things. My toes, everything I have to be very feminine looking when I'm on vacation. Why? Because that is how mentally I try to bring down the fight or flight. Mm-hmm. And I try not to be here in Puerto Rico because I will be on fight or flight all day. It's a small island. I can't. I got to be home in New York with my family or visit. I try to go out because I need to calm down. Not to say that I'm doing anything crazy. It just means that you will never stop being a police officer. You will never stop being a Marine. You're always going to be on duty. And people don't understand that. Because you ask me what is fight or flight, it's like you don't even know if you when you're addicted to a life that you don't even like. When I said that, it was kind of speaking to being in toxic areas that you were so used to being in that you didn't realize that you were participating, not knowing that you didn't want to be there. I don't know if that makes any sense, because it became the norm. You were almost kind of like not even realizing that you're part of it. For instance, you're the Wonder Woman, the one that wants to help everyone. But then you kind of like look for the people that are having problems, because part of your thing, you need to fix everything. But the one that needs to chill is me. I gotta let them deal with it.
It's funny. I can resonate with that, and I know you can too, Jonathan. Being that go-to, I think you mentioned it earlier.
You said it.
While we're in, you know, you are that go-to to the family, to everyone in need, and you know, it's not so much a bad thing once that dynamic changes, or if it does change. And I think we do learn that and realize that that we have to step away from that role sometimes, because we kind of enable certain people for that. And I know, you know, we've had those conversations, and it's a blessing in disguise too, because we continue to better ourselves and work on ourselves and focus on our self-love, you know, to be better for everyone else. We got to continue to be better for ourselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. Self-love. Morology. We have to do the morology. We have to do the work. We have to be willing to change it. And I'm doing that. Like we each every day. First of all, no one's ever done studying, and we're never done healing. Know that. We're never done rehabilitating. I hate that word, but I feel like in terms of changing our ways, we're growing. We never stop growing. We are all growing personally, spiritually, all that stuff. But there's a big responsibility for folks who wear this uniform, whether it's law enforcement, military, doctors, whatever. You're serving the people. You got to put aside whatever you got going on in your life. But if you feel like it's getting to a point where you cannot, do not be afraid to speak on it. Because that resilience, I get it, Marines. I get you too. The Marines, I was big on that. In fact, you know, a lot of people hate the ego. I like the ego. Let me tell you why I like the ego. The ego helped me get out of ICU. The ego's there for a reason, to help you get out of situations where what's the ego talking to you. Girl, you know better than that. Get out of that situation. You got this. Come on. That's not arrogance. That's the ego. Now, when you start ego tripping, is that every decision you make is based on your ego. Right? So I'm really big on listening to the ego when I'm down and out, when I'm feeling like crap, when I'm the most depressed, when I feel inadequate, you know, when I don't feel enough. The ego starts saying, get yourself up, put on some lipstick, get up, write a poem, get over it, you know?
Yeah.
I like that. A lot of us say that's God. It could be. It could be. but use your discernment. And I say all this like so confidently because that is why I'm still alive. I say that because that is why I'm still here.
Amen.
You hear a lot of people talk about, oh, I crashed, I had a car crash, and everybody died except me. Listen to what they're talking about. You know, I'm telling you, a lot of people don't make it. I mean, we've survived a lot and we're here.
That's right.
You know,
Right.
is that you said it when you sit down and you're like eating, you know, you had you knew that you had to get, I think you said it, Carrasquillo, you needed your nutrition, right? When I would go in the boot camp, if I had to be there at 4:00 in the morning to salute the flag, because we're quasi-military, and we, you know, at 2 in the morning, I was already dressed with my beret, like ready, because I'm not playing. I'm gonna make it. I didn't come here for bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna do it. So whenever somebody does something, that's ego, but that's a good ego.
That's right.
You call it ambition, but that's ego and because what you think the ambition's telling you got this, you could do this, and that's God too. You know,
Yeah.
that's it's all mixed
And-
together. So.
And also finding a way, to get it done. You know, also finding a way to get it done in the Marine Corps. One thing we learned early on is we don't ask too many questions on how to get things done. We figure it out. And if we ask as a junior Marine coming in, if you ask those questions, you got a response. And that response,
A letter to Garcia.
a letter to
Something
Garcia. A letter to Garcia, right?
Yeah, the letter to Garcia.
And basically what that's saying is go figure it
Find
out.
out.
Go figure it out. You know, and taking that initiative, you know, to not stop in your tracks. You know, there's a bigger picture. And we all play factors in it. We all play a factor. Everybody has an important job, an important title. You know, so that ego, it's not, you know, ego, will, resiliency, they all tie in together. And adding that into your arsenal, you know, having that become a part of you, you know,
your
and
repertoire.
Your repertoire, applying it to your daily. Now outside, you know, not only, and that's for anybody retired or, you know, coming out of that active lifestyle, you add those characteristics into your daily function. You know, so it becomes muscle memory.
I love it.
Like tying your sneakers.
Yeah, exactly. Tying your sneakers.
Yep.
Well, I want to show you one last video that I have. Then I'll get to the outro of the video that I wanted to show you guys. This one is pretty much, it's called Dear Officer, I See You. All right. Dear Officer, I See You. I'm definitely gonna try to present it. But before we do that, I'm gonna play one more video. This one's called Cold Empire. I would love for you guys to listen to what I'm saying here, because it's talking about changing the things that we have within ourselves.
Yes.
Right.
And shout out to the viewers too, and all these pieces right here by Dr. Poetry, by myself. Anything we play on this show, you know, you guys can look it up. You guys can find it on all platforms. You guys can look on Apple Music, on YouTube, Spotify.
These are iHeart. We're all over.
Everywhere. So make sure you guys check these out and put them on your playlist. This is Floetry, spoken word. It's poetry.
Floetic Echoes.
Floetic Echoes.
Genre we created. I created Floetic Echoes because I knew the importance of hitting some certain stanzas, certain words, certain verses that needed to be repeated throughout it needed to be echoed. And it's my way of saying, don't forget, you're not alone. Because sometimes even our echo can help us get through certain things. Because if you didn't hear it the first time, them echoes are there to remind you. And that's why, thus the birth of Floetic Echoes. It is a genre I created within the poetry world. I never talk about, but I will say that part right there. Dr. Poetry created Floetics, Floetic Echoes. That's why we're really big with the poetry.
Right.
All right, yeah. Here we go. We got another Floetic Echoes for you. It's called Cold Empire. Old me is a shadow that's faded. New me's got the crown, unaided. All the toxic ties I've raided from my soul, they're now evaded. So the low vibes, dressed as sweet temptations, I've dismissed those false creations. No more feasting on old sensations. I'm rewriting my own narrations. So old me's a shadow that's faded. Now I'm elated. I'm shedding the toxic. My empire's been gated. No more temptations. Those low vibrations outdated. Them traumatic memories I'm setting free. They're no longer weighted. An old me defeated. New me leading. Toxic chains I'm finally freeing. Empire cleansed of low vibrations. No more feeding dark temptations. I'm talking about memories. Memories that comfort. But now I release from those traumatic bonds. I claim my peace. Bygone shadows no longer bleed. In newfound strength, I truly lead. Old me's a shadow fading in the rear view. So new me's a battle, cutting all the clear through, letting go of all the toxic fears. I'm saying this is true. Building up an empire where the air's new, low vibes in disguise, temptations on repeat. But I'm wise, and I realize that I'm not falling for that deceit. Cause the comfort in the chaos, I'm not trying to take a seat. I won't take a seat. Cause I'm breaking from the past, and now my soul's complete. Trauma tried to chain me, and memories are just spilling in a spree. But I'm painting new scenes, setting all of it free. And I'm no longer feeding darkness. I hold the key, y'all. New me's rising up where I'm meant to be. Old me's down. New me's crowned. And toxic thrones overthrown. Empire's clean. Shaking off the low vibes once shown. And no more feeding flames. That temptations once leased. Breaking free, comfort's gone from memories deceased. Old me's a shadow, fading in the rear view. New me's on fire, burning all the fear too. Locked out the toxins, threw away the key. This is true. And I'm Dr. Poetry. Yeah. It's a new empire, y'all.
And if y'all want to hear, the rest of that, check that out. Go look that up. Cold Empire, y'all.
Cold Empire.
That's out to you.
Yeah, thank you. That was definitely a beat that I created. I create beats as well. CARRASQUILLO and so does Def. We work so well together. We really do. And I really want you to check out this one song. I'm sorry. I have a guest that knows you. So I want to show you off. And I want to play one more thing because I thought about this now. All right. So military and officers. And even doctors. Everyone that's working over 12 hours. Okay. That has marriages and spouses, right? And relationships. Let's talk about that really quick before we leave. You have a responsibility, right? But we have a job. We have a career. And sometimes they're waiting for us. And the relationship goes left, right. It's an emotional quicksand. And we created a beat. And we created a beautiful piece that's out. It's probably, a lot of people love this piece. And I love it because when we wrote it, we both were, him and his side and my side, we were dealing with some stuff. And I started writing. I said, Def, we got to do this. And I was like, I want violins and I want this. And we created this piece. And it's called Emotional Quicksand. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this, CARRASQUILLO. And I want your feedback. You're quiet. I want you to tell us, what did you hear? And what do you think we're talking about here? All right, here we go. I gave you some hints already. Here we go.
Fixated on how I react instead of taking responsibility, never listening to understand. Toxicity in a dysfunctional diversion, looking to avoid shame and accountability. We cannot be the price for some who are willing to pay as we sacrifice self. Flipping the conversation at hand, we are drowning in toxic emotional quicksand. I could sense the madness, desensitized to emotional needs. Painful experiences have compromised our moral compasses, corrupted by bitterness from deceitful humans, consumed by hatred, and now we seem to be giving up on humanity, holding on to the ability of focusing on our self-love, making it clear that we can discern right from wrong through the illusion of a perfect we. In an imperfect world with perfect purpose, yet we can't see because we can't stop seeing love as an illusion when it's an action that starts with self.
Pulling my strings like I was a violin. I was all in. I have questions. Let's see, where do I begin? Do you love me? Or you just don't want to lose me? Do you want me around, yet you don't want to be around me? Do you miss me, yet you don't miss being with me? You like me as a possession, but not as an independent person. You love me in the most perfect way with all my words. But why do your actions make me feel extremely unloved in this goddamn world? Self-love, never ending. So is it love, or are we trauma bonding? We must have known of our unique value of still being whole, even when life surprises us with consistent, bold, brutal hiccups of tribulations, attempting to cause the strangulation of our spiritual power, to combat the deterioration of our dedication to our higher self, acknowledging that our lower self needs not to be nourished. Our self-love is flourished into the value we see ourselves. When we are in our lower selves, honoring our higher selves, we are not broken. We are whole, even when we feel shattered like glass. Since we all know it's calculated, light and agile, there's nothing about self-love that's finite. It's the self-doubt and fear that allows us to feel fragile. We can and should be handled with care. We have fallen in many traps of love, avoiding mirrors that break when reflecting on our own self-hate. Knowing all along, we were never broken. Temporary setbacks, we are the best to love, as we know we've been through a whole lot. Yeah, we truly see, know, feel our underestimated values, while others may be afraid of bleeding by touching some of our broken pieces of truthful mirrors. Pistol whip when we realize we despise our own choices and decisions. We penalize while we choose to finalize.
Self-inflicted wounds, dichotomized, dissected to prioritize others' needs. We must govern our own minds, governing ourselves, honor self.
A woman like me, I encourage to love. I love me even when I did not like me. I am human and I love, cherish, and treat myself with love unapologetically. So I forgive myself. I will not throw myself away. I am whole and I love me completely. And I will not be the one who's going to have to beg someone back to stay, who does not want to be kept. I will not throw my self-love away. Self, sacred, eternal life force. Me as a whole, my endless self-love, all my perfect imperfections, all my scars. What matters is that I accept them, especially in the middle of a pretentious blessing in disguise, turned into a lesson type of rejection. I made self-love a reality. Emotional quicksand. Deaf poetry. I'm Dr. Poetry.
Man, emotional quicksand. That's powerful. What you take from that, John? What you take from that piece right there?
definitely a tug of war between man and woman, and not each side not being accountable for their what they think and their actions and their feelings. I think we go through that every day, with whether you have a significant other or you're in the dating scene or trying to get in the dating scene, because you're quick to assume. And what happens when you assume? Exactly.
As you,
You and me. Instead of talking it out, you go through your roller coaster in your mind, like, hey, they didn't pick up the phone call, or they didn't reach out because of this, and vice versa. You know, the male end is like, damn, she's not answering, she's not interested.
Right.
And that's something you could talk it out.
Yeah. Yep.
And then when you talk it out, you're like, wow, I did all that for no reason.
Exactly.
You know, I should have spoken to that person, and then you can get an understanding of actually what's occurring.
Right.
And that just helps it. And, you know, communication is key. Communication is key.
That part.
Communication and comprehension.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Because even silence is communication. Even silence.
After that, you have to apologize and forgive.
You should take accountability. And it's amazing because you said communication is key. And when, like, I talk about when I'm writing, I'm saying something like, I will not want to be put in a position to have to beg somebody to stay. A lot of that comes from, like you said, you pointed out, that was a key, communication, because silence is also a form of communication. When you're silent, what you're transmitting is that you're not caring. That silent means not interested. And if you don't communicate that, what's going to be interpreted is that right there. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that silence is a communication. So I appreciate you for that. That was great. That was good. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Love it. Listen, we got to get going, but before we go, viewers, we're going to leave you with this one poem and then we out of here. Okay. It's time to reflect. This poem, it's definitely, it's going to make all you law enforcement officers, especially law enforcement officers, but anyone behind a uniform, you know, anyone behind the uniform should really take a moment and reflect. Okay. I'm going to put this up here and we're going to watch this right now. Let's go. Yeah. It's called I Was a Police Officer. This is a poem. Yeah.
Today, I'll not answer the radio call that your boyfriend has come home drunk and is beating you again. Today, I'll not answer the radio call that your 16-year-old daughter, who is very responsible, is 4 hours late coming home from school. I will not care today that your store has been robbed or your house has been burglarized. Today, I'll not stop a drunk driver from killing someone. Also today, I'll not catch a rapist or a murderer or a car thief. And today, I will not respond to a call that a man has a gun or tried to abduct a child, or that someone has been stabbed or has been in a terrible accident. Today, I'll not save your child that you locked in the car, or the child you were too busy to watch who went outside and fell in the swimming pool. No, today I'll not do these things. Why? Because today I was killed by a drunk driver while I was pushing a disabled car off the highway. Today I was shot and killed doing a routine traffic stop simply to tell someone they had a taillight out. Today I was killed in a traffic accident while rushing to a citizen who was screaming for help. I was shot and killed today, serving a warrant on a known drug dealer. Today I was killed by a man when I went to his home to do a welfare check because his family was too busy. Today, I was killed trying to stop a bank robbery or a grocery store robbery. Today, I was killed doing my job. A chaplain and an officer will go to a house and tell a family that their son or daughter, or husband or wife or father or mother won't be coming home today. The flags at many police stations will be thrown at half-mast today, but most people won't know why. There'll be a funeral, and my fellow officers will come. A 21-gun salute will be given, and caps will be played as I'm laid to rest. My name will be put on a plaque, on a wall, in a building in a city somewhere. A folded flag will be placed on a map or a bookcase in a home, and a family will mourn. There'll be no cries for justice. There'll be no riots in the street. There'll be no one marching, screaming the words, "No justice, no peace." No citizens will be outraged, claiming that something must be done. No windows will be smashed, no cars burned, no rocks thrown, and no names called. Someone crying themselves to sleep tonight will be the only sign that I was cared about. I was a police officer.
Here's calls 120, 21, 28, code 3, 1035 West Lexus at Home Depot. 118, tell this my family alone. I can't copy. 118, tell my family alone. Yeah. We got crews coming. I'm getting medical. Any available crews go. All available crews go.
And I take it personally, okay? We're going up there and there's a bunch of cops processing his.
Underneath the police uniform, I'm just like you. A lover of laughter with dreams that grew. In every smile I share, a story unfolds. A reminder that compassion, it never grows old. Behind the badge, my heart beats the same. A melody of empathy, compassion, and fame. With every act of kindness, I'm trying to be that change. Using my voice to break through the range. Underneath this uniform, I'm a human being with feelings and emotions. A story worth seeing through the triumphs and struggles. Spreading love, hope, and the power of love. But a soul with a purpose, seeking no fame. Underneath this police uniform, I am real. I'm a woman of strength with love. Nothing to keep behind in a secret. Just love to reveal. Because underneath this police uniform, I am human. A woman, not the norm. I may wear satin and lace and pearls underneath, but here to heal. Break the world's swirls. I fight the darkness to protect the weak. And in the line of duty, my compassion, it doesn't just peak, it lives and bleeds through the chaos. I find my grace. I think of being a warrior with love in every chase. The beneath part of being a police officer is that behind the badge, a heart beats strong, and I'm ready to mend what's been torn for so long, because with kindness as my weapon, I'll prevail. In the name of justice, I will lift the veils. I am love. I am truth, peace, freedom, and justice. As I repay my karmic debt, it shall be fulfilled, because I am the change. And my only aim is to heal and not kill.
I want to heal and not kill. You see, I have a hard time explaining things sometimes because most people don't see that power is an intoxication of indoctrination, causing frustration from all the emotional suffocation. And that's why my beloved is constantly telling me, you must stay balanced and stay centered. Because every tear I wipe, every soul I save in this uniform, I don't want to be a hero engraved in a tombstone. I am human with kindness as my weapon. I keep saying I am human underneath this police uniform.